Welcome back to the late day wrap up, of which we have plenty to follow up on good old Bitcoin, maybe even talk about a little bit of Buteral Bungus as well. And of course, going to be following up on Dixie, traditional markets being NASDAQ and SPY futures, and a little bit of gold action as well. So with that said, I would like to wish you the best as always. If you want the more detailed and long form information, check out this morning's videos. That's going to be about 30 or 40 minutes along of straight up Bitcoin just spewing. Anyways, starting off with Dixie, as always, get the general bias on all the major pairs. We do see that it's still kind of having a bit of a bearish bias here in the short term. Ultimately, though, on the higher term timeframes like the weekly and like the monthly, I would be looking at this to create a range, as we have been saying for the past couple of months here, of which likely we do see these ranges on these potential macro lows take about 3 months long, as we have seen in the past from 2018 over here on this macro low, as we've seen on the past at this one over here at 2011, on this one over here at 08, and over the ones in 95 and of course 91 as well. All macro reversals, of which as long as Bitcoin, as long as Dixie is above the 89 3/4 pivot right here, I do look at this as potential bottoming region, meaning that I'd be looking for a range to kind of just continue onwards and forwards here. And seeing as we have been in this range for about 2 months now, could go on for another month, maybe a little bit more than that. But ultimately, if that condition is met, I'd be looking at this more and more as potential macro low, getting ready for a move back up north of 92 bucks, maybe even 92.5, which is going to put downwards pressure on everything that trades against it. In the short term, however, I would be looking for this one to come down and test the bottom side of this formation. I believe yesterday we did say a target of about 90 bucks even is where I'd be looking towards, and I'll still kind of hang on to that. I don't really have a strong proclivity within this range as far as the weekly goes. On a daily, however, short term, yeah, I'd be looking for a little bit of downside here, but I'm not necessarily calling like a full-on breakdown as long as we're getting weekly closes above 89 3/4. I'm not looking for a full-on breakout to the upside as long as we're getting weekly closures below about 91 bucks. So with that in mind, let's go over and check out what our major markets are doing. Let's check out what NASDAQ's doing first. We did say very likely a retest of the prior all-time high from like the day fucking prior, or 2 days prior, of which I would say that on the lower term timeframes right here, pretty much following Bitcoin. We did not get the short term move to the downside I was looking at this morning at about 13,550, but ultimately the main message there was all higher term timeframes still very much bullish, and that is going to be an opportunity. So this one just getting picked up at a higher level looks pretty damn good, but yes, the short term target was obviously not met. So medium and higher term timeframes take over once again, and I'd still be looking at the same sort of areas relevant to the upside at around the 2.618 extension right here at about 13,825, I believe it is. However, that is very unlikely to actually stop things. Ultimately, I do think that this thing does make its way towards $15,000. This is really fucking strong territory here, but that obviously is going to be based off of a weekly read, so that probably does take a few months to actually happen, and very likely stops somewhere along the way. But for right now, I don't really see anything of particular note, no formations, no nothing like that. I only see hidden bullish divergence on the lower term timeframes like the 4-hour and the 4-hour Stokes turning back up as well. So I don't really have anything else to be reading off of as it is right now. I'd just generally be bullish on it, looking for a retest of the prior all-time high and likely new all-time highs on top of that over some time. Moving on to SPY futures, I imagine it's going to be more or less the same shit. We're already retesting kind of the prior all-time high at about 39.25 after that target was met at the 2618. I'd be looking at basically the same thing here as well. Ultimately, I do think that this one does gun north of $4,000, somewhere around 4,025 to 4,050, and that's probably going to be the next medium-term stop. So for right now, same things here. Do we have the same hidden bullish divergence? Actually, no, we do not. Well, it depends if you call this a low right here, which I would actually. So that, yeah, I'd say that would be. Anyways, as it stands right now, all high-term time frames still bullish. As you can see, daily playing out hidden bullish divergence, and weekly is continuation at the end of the day. Now, of course, I really would like to see another move down to like 3,800 bucks, but that's a little bit of wishful thinking. To me, that's more or less an opportunity, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to ultimately happen. And same thing as this one, as on NASDAQ, looks like I'm not going to get the downside move that I was looking for from this morning's short term at about just below 39. Instead, up only apparently. Moving on to gold, what do we have? Same shit, just sideways. And what would I be saying about this right here? I still have no major calls in this one. This one is starting to switch around to a little bit of short-term and medium-term bullishness, but it's the weekly that's going to decide the long-term. So we did hit our target to the downside from last week. That was around 1785-ish region on the 55 exponential moving average on the weekly. The bounce has been good thus far, but this is not to call a reversal here. The only way that I can get bullish on gold for like a long-term move back back up to 1950 plus would be a weekly closure above this pivot about 1860-ish region, or wherever the 21 exponential moving average is on the weekly. If that condition is met, that looks pretty fucking good to me, and I'd be looking for 1950 and probably 2000 plus. For right now though, I have no biases on this. Short term it is starting to look a little bit better here, but do we have any divergences to be spoken of? Actually, no. So that probably does pull through here. So if I did have call direction, probably up, but I don't feel all that. I think a healthy amount of I have no real call here, and I don't know. I think a healthy amount of that is going to be warranted. Moving on to, is it Bitcoin time already? Is it Bitcoin time? I think it's Bitcoin time. All right, so Bitcoin popping back up, holding the bottom side of the range as we spoke about from this morning's video, and actually making even new all-time highs on top of that. Hidden bullish divergence showing the way all the way through off the 21 exponential moving average test. And as we did say during this morning's video, this is more or less an opportunity within this region. And as long as $43,000 does hold, there's nothing really bearish about this chart, and its momentum oscillator is about to get another north side twist here, plus that hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour and below, which we identified on this morning's video. That is certainly very much playing out already at the top side of the range. So to me, this is very likely to lead on into the next targets at $50,000 plus. In fact, our measured move again from this sort of cup and handle reaccumulation formation is still pointed at about 51,500-ish region. That is, of course, in line with the 2-spot extension from this whole base as well. And as we spoke about in this morning's video, I'm actually not really looking for things to stop there. Daily RSI, very fucking constructive here, very fucking good. Weekly RSI a little bit more problematic, but at least short-term good. 12-hour RSI really fucking good here as well. So showing the way, and yes, I would be looking for further confirmation on this. I do consider this pretty much already, well, it's technically not broken right now. I want to see the 4-hour close on new highs. If that condition is met, which is just going to be anywhere above 47,650, then I would look at this as the next move in progress. All these momentum oscillators is going to lift off once again, and I'd say that that's more or less formality right now. The key critical ingredient here, at least for myself, is the 4-hour RSI playing out hidden bullish divergence at the top side of the range. That's usually going to be a breakout signature. So if I had to call it right now, I do think that $50,000 plus Bitcoin is very likely incoming. Same sort of downside areas are still relevant here too. We could probably move up this pivot, however, to this level at 44,250 rather than 43,100, which was from this morning's video. So now, because Bitcoin has had this move, I would say that this would be your downside pivot for a short-term move to the downside, destroying the short-term and medium-term bullishness. So as long as that condition is not met, I'm just generally bullish on basically all time frames here. However, if this area is broken to the downside, again below 44,200 now, or sorry, 44,100 versus 43,100 from this morning video, we can move it up. If that area is broken, then I would be looking for a move back down to about $41,000 base, probably bounce there, and then I want to come back to it tomorrow. I would not feel comfortable making any further analysis on top of that, but for right now, I'm not fucking bearish. So there you go. There you fucking go. What about Buterol? Bullish. Bullish, crazy. Hey, same fucking chart right here. Hidden bullish divergence at the top side of the range. Is that going to make new all-time highs? Probably yes. Is the daily still bullish here? Actually, yes. Is 2,000 still on the table? Very much so. Is 2,200 on the table? Probably more likely, actually. Anyways, with that said, I do want to sign off here. Again, if you want the more detailed information, check out this morning's video. With that said, I salute you, and until next time, take care.